Welcome back to Montana this morning, everyone. The time is 6:45. Checking out the traffic, moving smoothly through downtown Billings on this Friday morning. We made our way through the week, and the weekend is finally here. Anyone who had a few days off this week because of the new year probably feels like a short week, but next week's going to feel a little bit longer because of that. Well, let's go ahead and get into news. We begin near Roundup this morning, where the search is over and there is at least some closure for the family of a 3-year-old boy who fell into the Musselshell River. County Sheriff Sean Lesnick says the body of 3-year-old Bryce Hoffer was found at 5:20 Thursday evening. His body was found about 2,000 feet downstream from where he fell in, east of Roundup at the Kilby Butte Hutterite Colony. Hoffer was walking with his sister late Monday morning when he slipped on ice and fell in the frigid waters. Multiple emergency responders and community members stepped up, but the search efforts were made difficult due to the cold temperatures and thick ice. Trained crews, community members, and family were all involved in the search. Q2 was talking with one of those family members here in Billings as he learned the news.
I've seen his tracks. It's just an honest tragic accident. He simply slipped off ice into some moving water, and it was over his head at that point. You want to do as much as you can to help the situation out, recover what's lost. Thankfully that was done. Nobody was injured. Now I can just go back to saying some prayers for the family and help them move on with life. This is just a tragic situation.
3-year-old Bryce is Tom's grandnephew. Tom is an outdoorsman who helped make sure the searchers stayed safe on the river. Now we go to Washington, D.C., where the U.S. House has passed 2 bills to fund and reopen the government, but the measures face likely failure in the Republican-controlled Senate. The legislation, backed by new Democratic Speaker Nancy Pelosi, would end the stalemate entering its 14th day today. The bill does not provide funding for President Trump's border wall. 800,000 federal employees are feeling the impact of the shutdown. And even though much of the federal government is shut down, its newest lineup of congressmen and women are now in place. In that batch, Senator Jon Tester was sworn in for his 3rd term after a heated and close race back in November. Representative Greg Gianforte returned to his seat in the House of Representatives, which has had a Republican hold since 1997. In a statement, Gianforte says he will continue to focus on Montana priorities, including protecting public access to our public lands, taking care of our veterans, cleaning up Washington, and making sure Montanans can thrive and prosper. And from Wyoming, Senator John Barrasso was also sworn in Thursday morning. Representative Liz Cheney also taking to the floor, but in a much bigger role this time. She is now 3rd in command within the House Republicans as the Republican Conference chairwoman. When she was named to this position in November, she said the House Republican Conference will work to fight the Democrats' radical agenda that threatens the nation's economy and security. Closer to home, a closer review of autopsy results is underway for the missing teen who was found dead on the Northern Cheyenne Reservation. The Bighorn County coroner says the autopsy on 14-year-old Henny Scott needs more review before a cause of death can be determined. The case will now be in the hands of the state medical examiner. Scott was first reported missing on December 13th. A missing persons alert went out nearly 2 weeks later, and her body was found last Friday. A wake for Scott will take place tonight at 7 o'clock at Lame Deer High School, with funeral services also at the school Saturday at 1 p.m. A Missoula man who was exonerated on a rape charge 2 years ago is now suing Missoula County and some of its officials for damages. Cody Marble filed the lawsuit in State District Court in Missoula late Thursday, saying he was wrongly prosecuted. Marble was convicted in 2002 of raping a fellow inmate in the Missoula County Juvenile Detention Center while both were teenagers. He said from the start that the crime never occurred and that fellow inmates framed him as a form of retribution. But it took Marble 14 years to clear his name. Missoula County Attorney Kirsten Pabst decided in 2016 to seek dismissal of the rape charge after her office reinvestigated the case. Marble's lawsuit says county prosecutors and sheriff's deputies botched the investigation 17 years ago by ignoring evidence that showed he was innocent. The Rocky Boy Police Department takes on a new effort to combat illegal drug sales on the reservation south of Havre. The new drug enforcement unit, made up of current patrol officers, will investigate and present federal felony drug cases directly to the U.S. Attorney's Office. The operations began in mid-December. Within the last 2 weeks, the unit has made several arrests, hauling in more than 750 grams of methamphetamine, 5.5 grams of black tar heroin, 5 firearms, including an assault rifle, opioid pills, and $11,000 in cash. Well, we are less than a week away from the 66th legislative session, and we are tracking a proposed measure to stop human trafficking in Montana. But Billings has a big stake in this particular proposed bill because it's designed to shut down the city's illicit massage parlors. Republican Representative Daniel Zolnikov says there are about 15 illicit massage parlors in Billings and a few others in Bozeman, Missoula, and Kalispell. He says these establishments breed human trafficking from unwilling participants. Zolnikov says the route of the bill would go beyond the control of city law by asking the massage parlors in question to be certified. If they aren't, they would be forced to close, essentially ending any human trafficking from occurring inside the building. He says it would not impact legitimate spas.
Then there's this stain in the whole industry that's the illegal ones. And they're usually not certified because the women are being moved around. So you don't want to go after the women. That is the worst approach. You want to get the business shut down. And to get that business shut down, you have to file an injunction. So you have to find a reason to have the injunction filed.
Zolnikov believes there is a blind eye being turned on the issue of human trafficking in Montana, something he hopes the measure would shed light on. He says something else we will see this session, bills to address missing and murdered Native American women. Here in Billings, the public will have a chance to learn more about the One Big Sky development project and ask questions today. It's a development plan that proponents say could provide jobs, attract skilled workers, and propel the economy of Billings and the entire state of Montana for decades to come. There is still, however, the big question of whether One Big Sky will ever become reality. If you would like to learn more about it, the public forum will be held this morning at 11:30 in the Glacier Room at First Interstate Bank's Operations Center. Sitting at a steady 3.7%, it seems Montana's unemployment rate is at its lowest in over a decade. According to the Office of the Governor, Montana added 7,400 jobs at the end of November. That's a growth of 1.5%. On top of that, Governor Steve Bullock says Montana's personal income growth was the 6th fastest in the nation. Also, average wages have increased by 2.5% in the year. Montana's median household income grew the fastest in the nation, and Montana businesses reached record high exports with more than 5,000 jobs supported. In 2018, Governor Bullock welcomed new businesses to Montana, including Israeli high-tech company Forecast and outdoor media and lifestyle company Meat Eater Inc. In other news, since its inception in 2004, the Montana Tobacco Quit line has received more than 95,000 calls, with a notable increase in those calls each January. The Quit line gets around 4,000 calls each year, and the Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services believes the New Year's resolutions play a big role in the January increase. Montana does have a higher tobacco quit rate than the national average, but around a quarter of Montana adults still use some form of tobacco. The state has also seen an increased amount of residents using e-cigarettes, with 23% of Montana youth admitting they partake.
If somebody out there is addicted to e-cigarettes, addicted to Juul, any of those e-cigarette products, and they need help quitting those and getting off of the nicotine, they can definitely call the Quit line for help.
DPHHS says quitting tobacco can be difficult, but the coaches available through the Montana Tobacco Quit line and the American Indian Commercial Tobacco Quit line are there to help. The department says health benefits from quitting can be seen almost immediately. Wrapping up our news for this Friday, a Billings man is the winner of the Montana Millionaire drawing. The Montana Lottery announced that Randy May is the top prize winner for the drawing that happened on December 28th. May bought his ticket on November 30th at McBinney's on 17th Street West and Avenue E. 2018 was the 12th year for Montana Millionaire that started in 2007. Other winners were from Billings in the years 2007, 2010, and 2011, and also one with a ticket purchased at McBinney's. The 2012 winner was from Laurel. After withholding for state and federal income tax, May will have $691,000 from his winnings.